I just left Hugs and Mugs, got my first hug of the day, and I'm going over to meet Linda. She is one of the solos participants here, and she is in a gorgeous Lazy Days, but boy does she have a story. She's a widow, on the road, made a beautiful plan, and is living life large. Hey Linda! Doing good. Are you enjoying this beautiful day?
Yes. I had my winter coat on earlier and I took it off because the sun came out. It's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous and I love this rig. Wow, can't wait to talk to you. Hope you'll join us. Hey Linda.
Hey, how you doing, Linda?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Great.
It's really nice to meet you here at this Solos event.
Yes, nice to meet you too.
Thank you. How long have you been with the Escapees now?
I think I joined in 21.
Okay.
Because I picked up my rig in the end of 20.
At the end of 20.
Yeah.
And boy, do you have a story.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
quite interesting. I know we were talking earlier, getting to know one another, and went on the walk yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, I just can't wait to get started now. Just if you would share, a little bit about your how you came to be interested in traveling, and just a little backdrop of your life to bring you to being a solo traveler.
Okay.
So.
Traveling, my family has always traveled. We did tent camping as kids. We moved often. Moved from Michigan to Wisconsin and back. And then I married an Army guy and we circled the country. As I was telling you, we move so often. I used to say, "Don't wash the windows. We'll just move instead." You know? So
that's awesome.
but,
I like that.
Yeah, and finally settled down in Southeast Michigan, and we were there for 20 years. That was the longest I've ever lived anywhere, and so it's kind of like moving around is in my blood.
Yes.
And
military can do that to you too,
yes.
Whether you want it to or not.
That's right.
It becomes part
Yep.
of you.
And Jim was an Eagle Scout.
Jim was your husband.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. And so he was into camping a lot. We did tent camping with the kids there too. Later on, when I was getting close to retirement, I decided that I would like to travel, but I have 2 cats. So how do we travel with the cats? And okay, that means an RV of some sort. And so decided on that. And then I found out that Jim had cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, thanks. And kind of narrowed it down to a motorhome. I didn't want to deal with backing up a trailer. And I wanted to be able to go from my bed to the cab anytime I felt like I needed to get the heck out of wherever I was, because I knew, because Jim was sick and they told us that he's not going to get cured, he's going to die from his cancer, that one day I would be out there alone.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted the safety aspect of being able to not go outside a vehicle to get to the front of the vehicle to get out if I needed to.
Right. So yeah, safety being a concern. And so he was diagnosed, when was that?
Like October of 2017.
2017. And is that when you started researching? You were in a Sticks and Bricks,
yeah,
in Michigan. And is that when you started researching this beautiful Lazy Days?
Yes.
Uh-huh. And the safety was one of your priorities.
Right. I had narrowed it down.
Tell us about that.
Well, I had narrowed it down to a motorhome, and I looked at Class A's versus Class C's.
Yes.
The Class A's have the engine underneath you or way in the back on the diesel pushers, and between you and the road is a piece of glass. On a Class C, you have a van built front with crumple zones and airbags and all that stuff between you and the road. So to me, that seemed a whole lot safer.
Okay.
And that's why I chose a Class C instead of a Class A.
Mm-hmm. And you were looking at several different models, were
Yep.
you?
Yep. There was 4 or 5 different ones, and I narrowed it down to a Lazy Days.
Mm-hmm.
They were, unfortunately, only made in Montclair, California, and they have no dealerships. They never did.
Mm-hmm.
You could only buy it at the factory.
So are you telling us when you say were, is if we want one, now we have to find a Lazy Days?
All the people talking about the different types of vehicles or different types of Class Cs, a lot of them were busy complaining about what was wrong with them. If you go on the owners' boards and look at the ratings and all that stuff with the Lazy Days, all you hear about is what's right with them.
Mm-hmm.
And came down to the conclusion that Lazy Days knew how to build Class Cs. They had been for 60 years. They started in the early 60s making them.
Yes.
And so they knew how to do it. They knew how to do it right. And they rarely had any issues coming out of the factory.
But there was a long lead time too.
Yeah.
2017, you went to your husband, and how did you navigate through that? Now you know he's sick. So in my mind, some people would be like, you know what, we're just gonna play out life for a little while, and then I'll see later. So how'd you tie that all in, that like he was in agreement? And
well, I knew I was going to retire in the middle of 2020.
And that was
the date I wanted to.
And you were working with the post office?
Yes.
Okay.
Figured, yes. That he would probably last 2, 3, 4 years.
And you'd be traveling together?
Yes. And if we needed to, I could drive. He could be in the bed in the back. So it was kind of like, let's do this. And if it doesn't come to pass, I've always been a I can do it kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, I'll keep doing it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So,
mm-hmm. So it was something too, I would think, for you both to look forward to.
Yes.
Yes. You know, it gave you a diversion.
Right.
Of like, okay, we're going to, you know, we might see this and we might see that. And,
yeah.
This is where we're going to go.
Yeah. I don't know. It's, you know, when you have a diagnosis that says, we're not going to cure him, he's going to die, you know, all of a sudden, okay, I know what my marriage and my life as I know it is going to change, why it's going to change, but I don't know when. So I knew Jim was going to die of cancer sometime in the future, but I didn't know exactly when.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we did everything we could do to prepare,
mm-hmm.
but just kept going on with life as it's all you can do. It's you can be really disappointed in the cards you're dealt, but you got to use them.
Oh wow, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
You can be disappointed with the cards you've been dealt, or you can just use them. Yeah. Use the cards that you're dealt. Wow.
You don't have a choice sometimes.
And something you said too is you prepared. Now this is kind of going to be a bunny trail, but you and I had briefly talked about this. That you feel strongly about, you know, preparing, and you had some other unfortunate passings. Mm-hmm. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we were prepared in that we got all the paperwork ready, power of attorney, durable power of attorney. So if he's sick, I can do anything for him. Medical power of attorney, so I can do medical decisions, which they usually, you know, the wife will get decisions anyways, but that, and all the bank accounts were either joint or payable on death, and just so that you didn't have to go through waiting for probate to do things and waiting for probate to get money. My younger brother died in December, and after Jim died and before my brother passed, I had convinced him that I don't care who you put on it, put somebody, you know, take
your brother.
Yeah, my brother. Take your checking account, and he had my parents on it as a joint account. and he had a 401k that he put payable on death, or a beneficiary for on them. So it makes it so much easier to pass on things rather than having to wait till the government gets their stuff together and tells you what you can do, and then they take their percentage because they're doing a little bit of work. And it's just like, if you've got either a beneficiary or a payable on death on all your accounts, it just rolls right over seamlessly almost. It's very easy. Get the power of attorneys for before the death, and you're pretty much set. I mean, it sounds kind of callous, but you have to. You have to prepare because you know it's coming. In my case, I knew it was coming. I just didn't know exactly when. But
yeah, and your brother died unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Yes. So I know we were talking, you know, which is the of the two evils.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to know ahead of time and be totally prepared and somewhat psychologically prepared?
Yes.
Or do you want to have a surprise? And if you don't have any paperwork prepared, you're in deep trouble.
Right.
And then that way, I don't know. If you know ahead of time, you can get everything ready, and you just have a little bit of psychological issue at the end. If you have nothing ready, you're in trouble.
Yes. And I am so sorry for your loss.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. But you are thriving, Linda.
Yeah.
You know, meeting you and just. Yeah.
Well, he died. My daughter had come to visit. Well, come to the funeral. She was living in Thailand at the time, and I had received the order, you know, kind of twisting around here, received the order packet for this at the beginning of December.
Right.
And we got it like a month before he died.
Yes, okay.
And then after we buried him in January, we went out to California. My daughter and I flew out there, ordered the rig. She went on to Thailand. I went back to Michigan. And it took till the December of 2020 for them to have it completely ready with the Ford COVID shutdown and all the supplier issues during that year. So I finally got it in December of 2020. And when I retired, and it just kind of hung in there until I got this, and I've been snowbirding every winter since then. Usually leave the beginning of December, come back the beginning of May, end of April, and then do a week or so every month somewhere around Michigan or Ohio or wherever.
Oh, very cool.
remember
correctly, you have never driven anything outside of a SUV size vehicle.
Right. Well, I just got in and said, I can do it.
Okay.
Set up the mirrors right so I can see both sides of me. It's a two-part mirror, so the top I can see out a little ways, and the bottom I can see right next to me. So there really isn't any blind spots on it. And I just drive it.
You just drive it.
Just get in and turn on. You know,
yeah, and go.
And well, I do have 5 or 6. No, not 5 or 6. I have 3 different options if I break down and I need to tow it somewhere. I have an option from FMCA. I have a FMCA Assist, which will get me, my rig, my cats back to my house.
What's it called?
FMCA Assist.
Okay, and how much is that?
That's included in the $50 a year membership with FMCA.
Okay, okay.
But it'll get you home if I am physically unable to do it.
Okay.
So if I fall and break my leg and I can't drive, I'm not stuck where I am. It'll take me home. It'll take the rig home.
You got this sense of security with
Yes,
that.
yes.
And the other 2 that you have?
Well, the insurance company, the insurance on the rig has towing.
Okay.
And the other one is I have Escapee's roadside package.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which,
yeah, that's cool,
yeah.
Since we're in an Escapee's
Right.
event.
Well, the Escapee's it's like most of the roadside. It's got towing, it's got tire They'll come and change a tire. They'll bring you a tire if you don't have one. They'll, if you get locked out, they'll help you. If you have, if you run out of gas, they'll bring gas. The normal stuff.
Some of the things that the other one doesn't cover.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one is mostly if I am medically unable.
Okay.
The other ones, the insurance company and the escapees are if the rig is unable to do.
Okay. All right. So I see the differentiation on that now. And one more time, so in case people want to look that up, it's the C. How do you look it up to get that type of insurance?
The medical?
Yes.
FMCA, a Family Motor Coach Association.
All right.
Has it included in their membership, and it's $50 a year for the membership.
Okay. You're in Arizona now, right? Now you're behind the wheel. Where are you going? What are you doing? You're not with your daughter now.
Nope. I actually, when I picked it up, I took my sister-in-law with me.
Okay.
Because I figured I wanted the company, and I wanted to drive pretty much straight through, and that would give me a break.
Okay.
Because it was, I think it was December 8th of 2020. And December, going from California up to Michigan, there's the possibility of bad weather. So I wanted to get home as fast as possible. And so we did it together. And the only scary part, I mean, when you're looking out the windows, it looks like you've got this much room on both sides between you and the white line. And it's the width that scares me the most on this.
Yes, me too. And how do you jump over that hurdle?
I look at the other Class C's in front of me and say, they got this much room. I can do it. So
truthfully, there's so much in our mind that just halts us.
Yes.
Or keeps us stuck. Get out of your mind into common sense.
Yeah.
Is what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, you see semis going down the road side by side on those, and they're wider than I am. But why can't I do it?
I mean, seriously, you're empowering me as we talk here. Just get out of your own thoughts into what the facts really are. And with that, you're a researcher too, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me probably 6 months online to figure out this one.
Okay.
And any other subject, right now it's all online. Back in the past, it used to be I'd take 20 books out of the library and research everything I could on it before I went to do anything. I can teach myself. And if I can't teach myself, I can find somebody to teach me. I mean, I can do it. There's nothing holding. I mean, and if it's my muscles that are holding me back, I can find tools that'll counteract what I don't have. But other than that, I can do it.
You go, girl.
Yay!
Woohoo! Empowerment 2.0.
Yes.
All right, and we talked briefly too. Share with us a little bit about you're a part-timer. Because I'm thinking, well, Linda, she's got this going. Why doesn't she just take this beautiful home all over the country and get rid of a home? So tell us a little bit about what's going on with you with ties and stuff.
Well, my parents are still alive. They're in their upper 80s.
Wow.
And they are up in Michigan. And I kind of like having a home to go back to. The family ties, and also somewhere to relax and stretch out a little bit.
Like a regrouping time?
Yeah, a little bit. I like to do different crafts. I mean, I sew, I do knitting, I do crocheting.
Ooh, okay.
I do have my sewing machine in there, but I haven't pulled it out but once.
Okay.
But because you need space when you're sewing, and you got space in a house.
Crafting is easier in a house.
Yes, because of the space restrictions. But I think mostly it's because my parents are still kicking, and they're going to be, if my genetics says they're going to be around for at least another 10 years. So the plan is to stay up there, and when they no longer are there to tie me in place, then I'm going to move down to Texas where my son is.
How do they feel about mom traveling around? And
they have no issues. Yeah, it's like they've always seen mom do whatever she wanted to do and whatever she thought I could. My dad was the one that said, I need to know where you are, Linda. So we got, you know, like we got Life 360 on our phones, so I can track them. They can track me.
Okay.
They can see wherever I am, and
you give them some peace of mind,
Yep.
which is very kind.
Right.
Good daughter.
Yeah, my dad calls me and says, "Oh, I see you went down to the Gulf today." I said, "Yep, that was a good time," and we talk about it. You know.
Awesome. Oh, that's fun. The connections.
Yeah.
Like that. So, do you have some favorite places now? You've been on the road since 2020, part-time.
I like Florida because of the trees and the water. I don't like Florida because I have to plan and make reservations and make sure 6 months out minimum that I've got a place to stay.
Yeah, because there's limited spaces. They've got water management.
Yeah, the water management I think
parks.
are 3 months.
Okay.
But you still have to make a reservation for them.
Mm-hmm.
The Corps of Engineers, 6 months, and if you're not online 10 o'clock a.m. to the dot 6 months out, you won't get a reservation.
In state parks, are they hard?
I tried a couple, and it was like they're all full. When I started looking in February of last year. Was it February? Yeah, it was about February. And they were already all full for January, February, and I said, let's skip the state parks.
In advance.
Yes.
For state parks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So if you're a planner.
Yep. I am, but I'm not.
Okay.
I like the West because you don't need to plan. You can just go out there and boondock anywhere you want.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's no grass, there's no trees, there's no water. So it's like I took a picture of it the first time I was out in Arizona. My daughter says, "You're in a parking lot?" I said, "No, this is out here in the desert."
But there is beautiful mountains.
Yes.
And there is beautiful sunsets and sunrises.
Yes, and there's big rocks and
Yes, those kind of things too. So it's a give and take thing.
Yeah.
And do you like to stay put for a while? Because people who've been following me a while know I'm a see do rest areas.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
When I went out west, I planned about a week in one place for an event. So I went to Escapees Convention or
Convergence.
I went to the what is the fireworks place? The Winter Blast.
Yeah, Lake Havasu.
Right. Mm-hmm. I went to Quartzsite for the big tent. So that was like a week each month, and then in between, just kind of hung around with some people I met, or I like to be on a very footloose.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If I'm traveling to a destination, I stop. I don't plan on a week anywhere. I do rest stops. I do casinos, occasionally Walmarts, truck stops. 2 years ago, I got Ford Maverick, and I'm towing behind. So that takes up 3 parking places in a normal parking spot. Mm-hmm. So I've got to get with the trucks. I can't do it with what you've got. You can do a normal parking place.
That's true. Right? Yes. You've got a point there.
So I have to be with the trucks, but they don't bother me. I mean, occasionally somebody's got a generator running and I get a few fumes, mm-hmm. but other than that, the noise is not an issue. Mm-hmm. And but yeah,
casinos. We had talked that kind of was a highlight for you. Is some of the casinos you stayed in you like? Yeah,
I'm not a gambler, but if you go to a new casino, they will usually and you sign up for their card.
Yes.
They'll give you $10 or $20 in gambling for free.
In Parker, yeah.
Yeah, and it's usually a big, huge parking lot. And mm-hmm. you can find a place to park. Mm-hmm. They have no objections to you being there overnight, and a lot of them will have free or cheap, next to cheap hookups. Actually, the ones I've hooked up at were free, mm-hmm. and quite a few of them have a dump station. Mm-hmm. Right. And the ones I found on casinocamper.com. Mm-hmm. It's a very clunky website that you got to kind of read everything to try and figure out where you're going, because there's a lot of ads on it. Mm-hmm. But once you get there, it'll give you the casinos that are in your area.
You've given us a lot of food for thought, to just do it.
Yeah.
Like Nike,
why not?
Dang it, I would have loved to have coined that. Just do it.
That's right.
And that's what you're doing, and you are living life large in spite of your some sad circumstances, and it's very admirable
Thanks.
that you are moving forward in your life, and that you're able to at the pace that you want to go at.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate talking to you, and I think everyone's going to have to stay tuned for part 2 for a tour of her beautiful, I'm telling you, beautiful Lazy Days. Linda, so we'll have to regroup for that.
Okay.
But in the meantime, anything else that you would like to share with everyone, your future plans or any empowering thoughts, whatever?
Put me on the spot there. I don't know. It's just don't let your head get the best of you. You can do it.
Mm-hmm.
I know. When I was at the post office, occasionally we'd get these old people in there that would say, we'd ask them if you can track this on this website, and they say, oh, I'm too old to get a computer. It's like, no, you're never too old to learn something new. Always, you can do it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
And there's an 81-year-old lady here. I don't know who the oldest is here, but I'm going to be interviewing her as well. Have you met Kathy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is she 81?
She's 81.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, in her white van.
And Bob next door to us is 84.
Okay.
It's like, why not?
Why not? Yeah.
If your body will let you do it,
yeah,
there's nothing holding you back.
Yeah.
Your mind can figure out how to do anything.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's a good. And then I always do like a one more thing. So do you have anything that you want to share about what you can't wait to see or where you're going next type of thing, as far as some things you're looking forward to?
Next, I'm going to Texas, where I'm going to see the total solar eclipse. And if this comes out before then, if you're anywhere near it, you have got to go see a total solar eclipse. Saw the one in August of 17, and it was like, yeah, let's do this again in 8 years.
Okay.
And that's where I'm going to be.
I'm not sure exactly when this will post, guys. You will know.
Yeah.
Whether you saw it or didn't see it.
Yeah, April 8th.
And then beyond that, you have national parks or anything? Like sometimes people are like, okay.
This year I'm going to, with the group, the Lazy Days group, I'm going to Cape Cod. With the Escapees, I'm going to Bar Harbor, Maine.
Ooh,
beautiful.
Acadia.
With the Lazy Days again, I'm going to Marietta, Ohio, which I'm not sure what's there, but it looks like it's got some good stuff. And going to Branson, Missouri with the Escapees.
All right.
So this is going to be a busy year.
Yes. Oh, I'm excited.
And in between all those trips, I'll be back in Michigan for my home base.
Yeah, and say hey to your parents.
That's right.
For a few.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much this was so much fun, and I hope you all will subscribe and click the bell, because you don't want to miss the next video of Linda's Lazy Days.
Thank you.
And blessings in your day and joy in your journey, however that looks for you.
Good.